Hi there, we're going to look at sample spaces in today's lesson. What is a sample space? Well, it's used to list the number of possible outcomes of two events. All right, so for example, you could roll a dice on a spinner and then look at the potential different outcomes or combinations, I suppose, if you could look at it, by using a table of format. So an outcome or event can be listed at the top and the outcome of the other event on the side. And from there, you can obviously get the outcome in the middle. So let's look at an example. So if I've got a six-sided dice and I rolled a spinner and numbers 1 to 4 is spun, the scores are added together and then record the possible outcomes in a sample space. All right, so we're trying to think about what the potential results will be. So rather than trying to think about what the potential results would be, we produce a table together to show us what all the results will be. So along the top, we've got the dice, obviously 1 to 6. Down the left-hand side, we've got a spinner, numbers 1 to 4. And then what we said is the scores are added together. All right, so what we're going to do is literally write a table and add the scores together. So we've got 1 plus 1 is 2, and then we've got 2 plus 1 is 3, 3 plus 1 is 4, and so on and so on and so on. So we've got the rest of the table completely full. And that, as we say, is a sample space. And from there, we can read it, we can look at things on it, and we can decide basically what's the highest score you could get. Well, the highest score you could get is going to be 10. What's the lowest score you could get? It's going to be 2. We've got 2 ones. And then how many ways can you get a 6? We'll get a 5 and a 1 there, can get 4 and a 2, a 3 and a 3, and a 2 and a 4. So there are obviously 4 ways of getting a 6. So I can see from there and interpret it. And this is what this next little bit is. It's about probabilities from sample space. This idea of thinking, once I've got a sample space, how can I work out probability of it or something from it? Okay, so if I look at my sample space, which I had just a minute ago, and I want to work at the probability of getting a 4, well, the probability is about, well, how many ways can you get 4 out of how many potential ways are there? Well, there are, if I look at this table here, I've got 6 by 4. There are 24 different possible combinations there, or so it's out of 24. Well, how many ways can you get a 4? There's 1, 2, 3. There's 3 of them there, and that means there's 3 out of 24. There's my probability. And I could simplify it if I wish to 1 over 8, all right? So it literally, once you've got your sample space, it's always going to be out of 24 because there are 24 combinations, all right? So what's the chances of getting more than 7? Well, what I'm looking at is how many ways of getting more than 7. So there's this bottom right-hand corner here. So there are 6 possible ways of getting more than 7. And therefore it's 6 out of 24. I've simplified, that's going to be 1/4. All right, so that is a probability from a sample space. So once you've got your sample space drawn up together, then from there you should be able to interpret it to work out potentially probabilities. All right, so get yourself to maths-school.co.uk and get some practice on sample spaces and, of course, probabilities from sample spaces. Thanks for listening.